Hey guys, what's up? Scottish Duck here, once again. Right, got another review slash thoughts on you here for, and that is going to be for Dragon Quest Heroes, The World Trees Woe, and The Blight Below. Okay, what's the acronym for that? TWTWTWBB. There you go, it's like, I'll put that in the friggin' title maybe, you know, just because I think that would be fucking amusing, so yeah. Dragon Quest Heroes, what the fuck is this game? Well, I actually just beaten it right there. My PS4 is actually still on. It's funny because I tweeted out there just before sitting down to play it today. I was like, Dragon Quest Heroes, please don't take away my entire Sunday. You know, I want to play other stuff. Don't be like that. And it almost did. I was dabbling in like a whole shitload of side quests and stuff. Then I kind of rage quitted. I'm like, right, let's go on with the main story, you know, as you would in any sort of RPG style game. And then I just kept going with it until I beat the game, so I'm like, okay, I've seen the credits, now it's okay to do a review on it, so that's where we are, that's why we're here right now. So, for those of you that don't know, this is basically Dragon Quest. It's basically what Dragon Quest is doing. They're doing the same thing that Zelda did with Hyrule Warriors for the Wii, you know, they're just taking the characters, the music, all that from the Dragon Quest franchise and making it into a Dynasty Warrior style game where you're a person on the battlefield and you're attacking waves and waves and waves of enemies constantly, and you're doing the same thing over and over again with slight variations from mission to mission. Either like claiming checkpoint. Well, actually, you don't claim checkpoints in this one per se. You take, I guess, like enemy checkpoints so they can stop spawning, and you protect like little points of interest. You know, there's really not that much variety. Probably less variety, I would say, than Hyrule Warriors. But that doesn't get me down. That didn't get me down at all. In fact, right off the bat, I like this a lot more than Hyrule Warriors. You know. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's because the Dragon Quest hype was still ablaze within me, because I just recently got into the series, you know. And I don't know, there was a lot of more things in here that made the experience a bit better. You know, it felt more RPG-ish than Hyrule Warriors did, and I appreciated that. You know, I really did. So, what's the story? The story is, you either play as Aurora or Lucius, the two main characters. They live in a world where monsters and humans get on just fine, which is completely different to all other Dragon Quest worlds. And basically shit happens, and other characters from other games start to come together for some reason, and they have to fight a big bad guy who has a moustache, so you know he's bad. And yeah, through the power of friendship, which they really hammer in, by the way, near the end of the game, it's like the real superpower of teamwork. They may as well have fucking said that, you know, one-upped fucking Sonic in that regard. Yeah, it's... There's a story in this game. That's pretty much all I'll say about it. You know, there is a story, alright? And it is cool to see all the Dragon Quest characters in these cool, well-animated CG cutscenes all talking to each other. You know, I'm not going to deny that. Yeah, it is funny because even though I've only just recently gotten into the series, I knew, like, pretty much all of these characters, you know? Shall I go for each one individually? Fuck it, let's do that. Representing Dragon Quest IV, we have Alina, Kirill, and... No, half of you won't even know who the fuck these people are, so maybe I should just skip it. Basically, I do like most of the character choices. You know, we got characters from 4, 5, 6, and 8. Okay, I haven't beaten Dragon Quest 6 yet. I have beaten 4, 5, and 8, and 9. 9 didn't really have any characters in the game anyway. But, you know, there's that, and it's a nice little array of characters to play as. So, in terms of fan service, yeah, the game does its job very well. You know, Hyrule Warriors did as well. You know, locations, music especially was... Well, actually, no, that's a lie. The locations weren't necessarily... Well, I guess you could tie them to Dragon Quest, in a sense, but it wasn't really, like, the main focus, you know. But as far as, like, the enemies go, and the characters and the music, yeah, fan service was through the fucking roof. Music especially, to the point where Square Enix is so protective of the music and will not let you stream the game unless you turn the music off. Has any other game fucking done that? I don't think so. Square Enix, fuck off, pretty much, yeah. What else is there to talk about? I guess I'll talk about the sort of like structure and how you go about things. So basically you have a base of operations, you know, a hub world in a sense, where you can do all your shit, you can buy your weapons, you can throw stuff in the alchemy pot, which is like a Dragon Quest staple at this point, rearrange your party members, buy other items, accept side quests and stuff, and you'll go there every time you finish something, you know, and it's a good little place to, you know, sort of go there, recuperate yourself and save and all that. And like I said, you have the option to just keep going on in the story, or you can take on one of the many side quests that the game has to offer. And there's a lot of side quests in this game. Pretty much stuff that you'd like expect, like grab so much of this item, or defeat so many of these enemies, or sometimes you'll get like a whole quest, which is a whole mission into it itself. And near the end of the game, you actually get some really cool optional stuff that will expand your sort of character's motivations and stuff, you know, which I thought was really interesting. Like, Alina gets to enter a tournament and stuff. Nira and Bianca get to help for a wedding and stuff, and, you know, just cool things like that. So, yeah, in terms of, like, how everything's structured, I'm okay with it, you know? I never felt like I was under-leveled. Well, actually, the game is fucking hard. That should be said. This game is quite difficult, right? I didn't really have that much problem with Hyrule Warriors. It wasn't until like I started dwelling into a lot of optional stuff in that game that I realized I was really under-leveled, and I kind of dropped it there. But in this one, maybe it's the Dragon Quest like feel of it, but I had that impulse to grind and stuff, you know. It was you know, as you would in most Dragon Quest games. So yeah, it's a bit more authentic than Hyrule Warriors then in that regard. And with that said, how's the combat itself? Well, it sure is fucking turn-based, you know. It's pretty standard Dynasty Warriors. I mean, you only have to watch Dynasty Warriors gameplay for about 5 minutes to get the entire gist of what those games are like, you know. You've got 2 attack buttons, you can jump, which I don't think you could do in Hyrule Warriors. There's no dash button, and that was actually a big beef. That was a beef. I remember I started playing it, I'm like, why the fuck can't you dash? Why can't you speed up to get to one bit from the other? There is a means of teleporting to other bits on the map instantly, provided you activate certain checkpoints, but it would have been nice to have like a dash command, you know, specifically because the L3 button on the controller, to my knowledge, isn't really doing anything, so you think you could have, you know, clicked that to start sprinting, you know, it's just a thought, but yeah, it gets, provided that you are into that provided that you can get into that sort of thing, I should say, provided you're not one of those types that will just go on and on about, oh, I'm just doing the same thing over and over and over again, which you will be doing that all the time in this fucking game. You'll be hacking shit until their little life bar runs out, then you will go do the rest. Provided you can, like, overcome that and realise that there's a shitload of content where it is just that, then you will like Dragon Quest Heroes, you know? Now, if you've never played a Dragon Quest game before, will you like it? If you like Dynasty Warriors, sure, you know? I mean, you should play some Dragon Quest games because they're fucking amazing, but afraid you can get into that style of gameplay. I think it would be fine all the same. Anything else I want to talk about? I guess graphic-wise, I'll say no slowdown, which was good. This game was also on the PS3 in Japan, but when they've localized it here, it's become a PS4 exclusive. Maybe that version had a bit of slowdown, but thinking about it, actually, it's quite impressive because it does kind of look like a PS3 game, but there's nothing in it that was really, you know, what you would expect from a game like this. You know, I didn't notice any, like, ugly looking shadows, no slowdown, the resolution was fine, the textures were fine, not any pop-up, you know, none of the little jaggies on, like, the characters and that. It held up really well, and I'm kind of guessing that the PS3 version maybe doesn't, but when they ported it to here, they made sure that none of that bullshit was, like, noticeable, and it makes for a really pleasant looking experience, let's put it that way. And I hope that most games can sort of achieve that. They can sort of realise that it's more about nailing. That's just my opinion. It's more about nailing those little things rather than making it look amazingly super good. You know, that's kind of where my priorities lie. But yeah, like I said, loads of content. There's apparently a New Game Plus mode, which, if it wasn't for the fact that I was currently on like a marathon, like I'm going to go into Disgaea 5 or Tales of Zestiria pretty much as soon as I turn this camera off, you know? If it wasn't for the fact that I've got shit to do, I'd probably still play this. I'd probably go for like all the side quests, play for a New Game Plus, because it really did get me... I got that feeling of zen, like I wanted to keep going, you know? I know a lot of people get that with Dynasty Warriors. I've got some friends that were like that with the Hyrule Warriors, you know, putting hundreds of hours into the game. I put just over 30 hours into this, and I guess I'm good to call it quits. I may just go back to it, but I was glad to pick this up. This was a really good game. Again, it's all down to whether or not you can get into that style, you know? Because objectively, provided you can get past that, there's really nothing poor to say about the game. You know, like, it was really hard. I wish there was a sprint button. Is there anything else, really? Jessica's in the game, you know. Jessica from Dragon Quest. Am I alone here? Does anybody ever, like, feel like you have a proper crush on a fictional character? Anybody? Anybody? Jessica? It's just me? Okay, never mind then. Right, that's that, guys, anyway. Okay, hopefully I can get through this marathon, do videos for Tales of Zestiria, Disgaea and all that, so yeah. See you after, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.